Good afternoon, everyone. Coming from you to you today from Deer Isle, Maine. A beautiful but somewhat windy day. Today we're going to be talking about forgiveness, and I'm going to start with a story by a woman named Dr. Emily Brault. She was a minister who also worked as a chaplain with the Oregon State Correctional Department. Prior to working with women that were in jail, she used to work at a juvenile correctional facility, so kids that were in jail. And this is a story of forgiveness that inspired her along her journey in her along her spiritual way in her career. So here's her story. While I was working at a juvenile correction facility, I met a 15-year-old boy. We'll call him Jeremy. Jeremy was in prison for breaking into a church and stealing money. It was a random church. He didn't know anybody there. He had never gone there, but it was an easy mark, and he needed the money. Who knows for what? Towards the end of his sentence, Jeremy had the chance to participate in a restorative justice circle. It turned out that some of the people at the church wanted to meet him. They wanted to hear his side of the story. Why did he do that? Why did he steal the money? Why them? Why did he steal it from that particular church? And they wanted to tell him their side of the story too, and how Jeremy affected the church and how he affected the people in the church. I was one of the people who helped Jeremy get ready for his circle. At first, Jeremy didn't understand why the people would be mad at him. He said, "It's not like I stole from somebody in particular. The church can always get more money. It's not like it's some person's money, somebody's money." I tried to explain it to him like this. Imagine that you have two piles of money. One pile is for yourself, for the things that you want, maybe a bike or a stereo, and the other pile is for your grandpa. Maybe you are saving money for your grandpa because he needs surgery or he needs glasses, and you've been saving money for him for a long time. So now imagine these two piles of money, and I'm going to take one of them from you. Should I take your money, or should I take the money that you've been saving for your grandpa? Jeremy decided that I should take his money. When I asked him why, he said, "Because I can always get those things later, like a bike or a stereo for myself. My grandpa needs my help." "Well, Jeremy," I said, "when you stole from the church, you stole money that people gave so they could help other people. So you didn't just steal from one person. You stole a pile of money that was meant to help many people like your grandpa." Jeremy was nervous about meeting the people of the church that he had stolen from, but he wanted the chance to apologize to them. He was very scared about what they might say, though. Would they hate him? Would they yell at him? He had no idea how they would react. But he wanted to apologize, and he had the courage it took to listen to whatever the people of the church needed to say to him. I met with Jeremy the day after the circle. He was so happy and energetic. When I got there, he said, "I was really nervous. All these people were there. The pastor was there and like 5 different people from the church. And we all just went around the table and talked. They told me how I had hurt them and how they were still struggling with feeling safe in their church. Some of the people cried. I felt so bad. I cried too. I told them everything, what I was thinking, why I did it, and I apologized. I apologized for being selfish and for thinking only of me and for never thinking about how I might affect other people. I wish I could take it back. I wish I could live that night over and make different choices, but I can't. All I can do is say, I'm sorry." And after it was over, some of the people gave me hugs. I don't think I've ever cried so much. I can't believe they gave me a hug, and they forgave me. Jeremy was a different person after that. Something changed in him, something big and important. He talked about his experience in that circle for months. He talked to other guys in the prison. He talked about choices and responsibility. He talked about how our actions affect others, even when we don't know it. And he talked about how grateful he felt that he had the chance to say he was sorry and start again. I lost touch with Jeremy after he got out, but he will always impress me. I hope that church was as transformed by the circle as he was. May we all have the courage to face our hurts with gentleness and hope. So that is the story of Jeremy, the youth called Jeremy, who stole from the church, but then apologized for it and felt remorse. He felt generally genuinely sorry about what he had done, and he learned from that experience. So what do you think about this story? And if you were a member of that congregation and in that circle with Jeremy and had money stolen from people you wanted to help, would have you wanted to meet him? What have you felt like? Would you have been nervous? I mean, here's this kid that stole money from the church. So you might feel a little nervous, or you might not really want to meet him because you might think, no, he's a bad person. He did this bad thing. So why would you have wanted to meet him, or why would you have not wanted to meet him? So we want to affirm that every person has dignity, right? But do you just think this includes people who are in prison? And what if Jeremy hadn't participated in this circle, this restorative justice circle? Do you think this principle would apply to him? Do you think that do you think he was worthy of dignity? I think he was. He did something, we all do things that are wrong, but we learn from those mistakes, and he had made a mistake and he didn't think it through. He didn't realize the impacts. And I think what this story really brings out to me is how much talking to people and opening up to people and telling people how you really feel, that communication that happened to be between Jeremy and the congregation, they were able to see things from the other person's perspective, like what my superpower I was talking about trying to put people in other people's shoes. By participating in that circle, all of a sudden he realized that no, he wasn't stealing from a person in particular, but it was sort of worse in that he had stolen money that was meant to help people. And he realized that, and he apologized, and he was scared. I mean, think about everyone in that room was probably a little bit scared and nervous, and Jeremy as much of anyone. And in making that apology, and by being honest in his apology and about how he felt, it helped himself too. So it wasn't just, I mean, he did it probably, I can't speculate on the reasons he did it, but it helps the people of the church to be able to have that discussion, but it helped himself too, to make that apology, to be able to express how he felt to those people and let them know he was sorry about what he had done. So I think it was powerful for everyone involved. So we're going to do a little meditation of sorts. It'll just take a couple minutes, and mirror and window. So I want you guys home to sit quietly. Give yourself some space between you and anyone else who you might be watching this with. And it's just a little bit of time for inner reflection. I'm going to lead you through, it's sort of going to be guided. And close your eyes and relax. Take a few breaths in. Take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. Take another deep breath in and let it out slowly. Calm your body and calm your mind. And just let your mind wander. And you're wandering around until you get to a path. It's a calm and peaceful path. Sun is glittering through the leaves and the trees. Allow yourself to walk down this path for a while in your imagination. Walk it very slowly and pay attention to anything around you might see on the path. Just notice any images or any sensations you might have, and let them go as you wander slowly forward. You come to a clearing and you find a comfortable place to rest. In your hand, imagine a wonderful tool that is both a mirror and a window, depending on which way you turn it. Look closely at each side of this tool. You can see your own face in the mirror side of it. And then you turn the tool over, and what do you see? But it's a window, so you see the face of others through the window. So each time you turn this tool over, you see the mirror, and you see the window and other people's faces. So when you see other people's faces, say, I forgive you. And then you turn it, and you see yourself, and I say, I forgive me. And repeat this. Turn it to the window. I forgive you. Turn it over again. I forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive me. Put the tool down and slowly leave the clearing and return to your path. Walk gently along the path. Slowly notice your breathing, in and out, and pay attention as you breathe in and out. Walk along this path and return to the room. And when you're ready, open it back up your eyes. So what do you think about that? How are you feeling about that? So there's two sides to it, right? So we talked about forgiveness, like Jeremy, he was asking for forgiveness from other people. So those congregation were looking through that window to forgive someone else. But Jeremy also had to forgive himself, right? Because he realized he had done wrong and he felt really bad about it. So part of his journey in forgiveness was forgiving himself for what he had done. And that can be really hard. Sometimes that can be harder than forgiving other people. I know for myself, I could be really hard on myself, and sometimes too hard on myself. And sometimes you just have to say, you know what? It's okay that I didn't do that, or you know what? Or it's about learning from your mistakes. You feel bad about something, but you know what? You did that. You offer an apology to the person that you wronged, and you know you can do better next time. So when someone is saying I'm sorry enough, if someone just makes an apology, is that really enough for forgiveness? I think it really depends on if it's from the heart or not. If someone is genuinely sorry, you sort of know it if someone really is actually feeling that remorse. And I think that is very important and really makes a difference. So forgiveness is one thing. I think even just saying it, even if you're just a little bit sorry to someone, you've done wrong to someone, and you're sort of feeling it's a step to just to apologize to them. It can help both that person and it can help yourself along the journey to actually realizing how you harmed the person. And like Jeremy did, I think it's all about communicating and talking from the heart between the person who was wronged and the person who didn't wrong to really achieve true forgiveness deep down inside. So that is it for today's lesson. I think it's the second to last of the social justice lessons. I think we have one more, maybe two, and then we'll be doing some other stuff. But I hope they've been meaningful to you. And stay safe, stay kind, and I will see you next week.